Yo, what's going on, culture people of Earth? Welcome back to another episode of Landed to the World. I'm your host, King the Wiseman. Today, I have someone with me, a very dear friend that I made down here in my time in college at Georgia Southern University. I will introduce her, but I'm going to let her introduce herself. You can go ahead now.
Hi. I'm Joe. Nice to meet everybody.
That's too soft. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
I'm scared.
This is my good friend, Michael B, a.k.a. Jordan.
Yes, that is my name.
So, before we get into anything, first I want to say I appreciate you being part of my episode for today.
No problem.
First things first, as you know, you've been here before. One thing that I do on this podcast before anything is the weekly checkup. Just from today is today's Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday. So from last week, how have you been? Like across the board, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like what would you say?
I feel good. I've just been really super busy.
Yeah.
But busy just helped the days go along. So it's been pretty good. Not too much like physical, not too much emotionally. Mm-hmm. Just real busy. Yeah. And I feel like I'm like tapping in to like my higher self or something. Like I'm trying to see what's for me and what's not for me.
Okay.
Spooky, I know.
All right. I like that. So now I'm gonna ask you to score it. 1 to 10 overall.
When it's about to get 8.
8?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Okay.
That's what's up. I'm gonna go ahead and answer. I'm gonna give it a 9.
You gonna give it a 9?
Or I'm gonna give it a 9 because like we was talking about before, things been looking up this week. Like I've been hit with a couple blessings. I made it down here safely.
Exactly.
We're recording.
Mm-hmm.
I got another one scheduled for tomorrow, so it's just like
full tank of gas.
Full tank of gas. Come on, now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just can't complain. You just gotta thank God at certain points. Like it's it.
Amen.
But so jumping into the episode for today, as you know, and as y'all know, as you can see from the title, we're getting on the topic of marriages. Like it's been real talked about recently, especially on like all social media. Everything. It's just a topic to discuss. Mm-hmm. So my first thing is, first of all, do you see yourself at some point in time in the future in your life getting married? I know I do. Like and that I see it for myself.
Me, for myself, probably not. Maybe like a life partner. But a lot of people will be like, oh, well, if you have a life partner, why not get married to them? I just feel like, okay, well, you know what, let me rephrase that. Yes, because they're going to be my life partner anyways.
Yeah.
But just right now, I'm not really focused on like the whole marriage thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not in a rush to be married.
I understand.
But
I got you.
If it comes, I will be married.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, from marriages in the standpoint, like what are some of the examples of marriages that you see for yourself or that you've seen in your life, whether it be anyone? Teacher you've seen, person, someone at the store that you go to regularly, like parent, aunt, uncle, grandparent, it doesn't matter.
Well, okay. So, my parents are divorced. Mm-hmm. And it's been like in my family, like I haven't really seen a super great depiction of marriage. Mm-hmm. Other than my grandma Tommy Davis and my granddaddy James Davis. Mm. But other than that, I really haven't seen a fantastic portrayal of what love is supposed to be or how marriage is supposed to work. I see examples from like my best friend Ian. Love his parents' relationship, love his parents, love his family. I just feel like they have a really good depiction, and my great grandparents they had a really good depiction. But other than that, like everyone in my family is either like a single parent, or they're divorced and have gotten remarried, or they just stay single after the divorce, or they just were never married and have children. So it's really not they do emphasize get married and all that. Mm-hmm. But many people don't get married. They just have the kids and then they, live life. Yeah, so.
Okay. All right, so shying away from just like personal examples, what about some media examples? Like, what are some marriages that you've seen media-wise that you would say, like, if I was to get married, I would want it to be something like that?
I don't really know whose relationship I would just be like, I want their relationship.
Okay, I'm gonna say one of mine. So, okay. A marriage that I look at closely and say, like, you know what, I would want, like, love for this is Barack and Michelle. I look at their marriage just because, like, from the things that I've seen. Of course, I don't know what happens behind closed doors and whatnot, but like right. From when he used to give speeches and how they would interact, how he would talk about her, how she would talk about him, mm-hmm. when they are on the air together or anything. Like even when they after he wasn't the president anymore and they started posting their pictures and everything, it was just like seeing that couple. To me, it was just like, you know what, future down the line, like that's what I choose. Like that's what I would want to be.
Okay. I can see how you would say that. I mean, okay. I just like nothing. I
mean, it was Will and Jada, but nah, man.
No. No.
And then Will and Jada love.
No. I just feel like there's nobody in media. I mean, that is a great, that is a great couple to pick. But, I mean, really just nobody in media just speaks out to me and be like, I want their relationship. Again, even the people that I do know and have stated like, oh, I like their relationship, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors for them to keep that marriage or what even entails in that marriage, what even goes on. But yeah, I just haven't seen anybody in the media that I'm just like, ooh, I love their marriage. I just love the way that they act with each other.
Like the way it is like the happiness. Like, cause it's just like when you see someone being happy, it's just like, damn, I want to be happy too. Yeah. So it's just like, it informs that me, it will say like, when I get in their age, like,
oh, okay.
Like I want to be their age, like how they're still happy. Not even how they're happy, but like, of course you know what, like who Barack Obama is, right. Of course. But you don't only know Michelle Obama for being Barack Obama's wife. Like you know Michelle Obama for being Michelle Obama, first lady. Of course, she is Barack Obama's wife, and that's why she's the first lady. Mm-hmm. But she didn't.
The Healthy Food Initiative.
Don't bring that up.
She started that.
I still hate Truman to this day.
Look, still to this day though, she did make strides to make sure that it's healthy eating in the school.
She did.
Or like get up and play, like active, just keeping the youth active. Yeah. So, cause she was doing stuff. She wasn't just the first.
This shit shitty now.
Yes, huh?
This food is shitty now.
Bye. Get out of town.
Anyways. That shit is terrible.
Anyway, well, okay. There is a couple, and I really love them, but they're not married. They're just literally like life partners. Taylor Giavacious and Nash Greer.
Okay. Why? I'm interested to know why you picked that one. I ain't gonna lie to you.
They look like they are such a cool family. Like them and their little family, like they're vegans for one. They're vegans for one. They really they cool. Like they just seem very chill. They communicate with each other, like they have open communication. The way that they like talk to their children, raise their children is very like, we're teaching him this, we're teaching him that. Mm-hmm. They just had another kid too. Like they're just very like outside organic people, very much so. We talk about our feelings, we talk through our emotions type people. I just really love their family. Like they're tough.
Ooh, you just reminded me of and I forgot about them, but David and Tamela.
Who?
David and Tamela, man.
Oh, okay.
Like the fact that they both built their career in the same exact and then on top of that, you're acting as
they are a good couple. I forgot about that.
You're her dad in the movies that y'all play. That shit is just wild to me. But then it's just you can do it so well.
Yeah,
the chemistry is just so much there.
Yeah.
But going a little further, and I'm gonna jump forward a little bit. Okay. My question to you: when you see marriages now, and not media driven, but I guess it's all media, unless you see it personally. But like marriages now compared to the ones back then, grandparents' generation, a little further back, if not most. Or just the old movies that we used to see and stuff, whatever representation of an old marriage that you've seen. Okay. What do you think is, if you had to make a Venn diagram of those marriages, what would you say would be in that middle piece? Do you feel like any attributes of now marriages even compared to back then?
Okay, so back then I felt like people were, I'm not going to say they were in a rush to get married. Really, it depends on the time period. Are you talking about 80s, 90s, 70s?
No, I'm talking about
Are you talking about
70s marriages, people in the, let me see, because if he was born in I think he was born in the 70s now, you would be 50, if you were born in 70, the oldest person would be 53. So
our parents then?
Nah, I'm talking about grandparents.
Grandparents?
Yeah.
My mom was born in 76.
No, that's what I'm saying. People who are 20 and 70.
Oh, okay. So our grandparents. Okay, well, my grandmother, she didn't really have a good, she didn't have a good relationship with my dad's dad, with my mom's dad. Not my mom's. Yeah, my mom's dad.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she didn't have a good relationship with him, and she had an even worse relationship with my auntie's dad. So it wasn't good. It wasn't great. That wasn't a good example for my mom being young either. So, to answer your question, marriages back then, I feel like the woman really depended on the man to make stuff happen. It was very much so, and even with societal changes that were going on during that time, you're 20 in the 70s, so that means that you was born in the 50s.
Yeah.
50s is is that baby boomer or is that 30s, 40s?
I think that would be baby boomer. Oh, I think baby boomer would be that. I think they would be the baby boomer situation, but I feel I think those kids are the baby boomer situation. Our parents are the results of baby boomer. I think. I'm 100% sure. And it's crazy. So we did an episode on this. And that was the first episode. That's crazy. But
okay, well, their generation, when they were in the 70s in their 20s, I feel a lot of stuff was, the relationships were becoming less rigid. Way back when, women were their husband's property. They really didn't have no say. Not saying in the 70s, but when our grandparents were before the 20s.
I wouldn't really necessarily say property. I would say since back then, a lot of times were different. I'll say it grew in terms of women back then, and this is just my personal opinion. Okay. In terms of women back then and women now, you have a lot more independent women now than you did back then. Exactly. So it's just I feel with that also, you've had a lot of more women who were, I don't want to say property, but I don't want to say that was your life, because honestly, yeah, I would say that because it's not even a bad thing. That was your life. That you were a family woman.
But see, a lot of women, even though it's portrayed as, I'm happy being this family woman and I'm happy being married and all of this stuff, a lot of the time it was whatever the husband say goes. The woman didn't really have a they had some pushback, but most of the time, like,
In
men
what
run the
regards?
world. Like, back then, well, okay, I'm not, okay. In the 70s, they was about 20. They had a little bit less of a patriarch in the family in the 70s. So it was a lot looser. In the 70s, they were very much so, okay, like, we loosening up. It's okay, like, I have more of a choice to speak and stuff like that. So that's kind of ushering in more of like I don't have to be so dependent on my husband, I guess, because they have more of a option and a choice. Now I feel like people really don't value marriage. Like, it's many people that don't get married or get married when they're like maybe 30, 40 years old.
Okay, hold on to that. Because I'm gonna revisit that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna piggyback off of a point that you made a little bit before. So in terms of like back then and the women and everything, would you say that because of how things are now, like how modern the world is now, how there's different avenues, you even got like, it's not much to, I'll just say, to sum it up, be independent now. So in this regards of like now, why do you think so many women now are different from how they were back then in terms of their ideals of marriage? Like, what is making everything so bad about it? Not bad, but like, what's making everything just not sought out?
I feel like women, it's really not a lot of value in a marriage. Like, and I'm not gonna say like traditions wise that's true, because traditionally there still could be a lot of value in getting married. However, I feel like right now the type of men or the options that we have are a little shaky. Like, it's kind of like, as black, well, I can only speak as a black woman, and I'm not speaking for all black women, but just for myself.
No, fuck that. Advocate for.
No. I can't advocate for black women because we are all different.
Yes.
So for myself, being a black woman, I don't think that right now black women are number one about going to school, getting an education, graduating. Like, we are the race that's going out.
Not all of them.
Most. Like, we are the highest of going to school, getting our degrees right now. No, we are.
No, I'm talking about it just in terms of black women, because you got a lot of black women that's out here that's just saying, I'm gonna go.
No, but I'm saying, like, out of our demographic of college age women, we are the demographic that is the highest about going to school, finishing our degree, and making sure that we make something of ourselves later on in life. Yeah. The men that are of our same age group, they're literally just like, I'll graduate when I graduate. And black women like myself, we are making sure that we gotta get this done. Education comes first, because education guides you so many places into life where you're just like, oh, okay, I got a good job, I can support myself. I know how to handle myself when I'm talking to or dealing with a man or a woman, whatever your preference is, or whoever you're trying to marry. So I just feel like when you're talking about a heterosexual relationship with a man, they're not as, and especially in this time period right now, they're not as mature or really about their business unless you push them. And even then, like, it's like, why are we pushing you? Why can't you have that ability to push yourself as we do? Because we're going out and making things happen. So it's just like, I feel like the value level is not there. Like,
I want to rebuttal that.
I'm not speaking down on men, but I'm just saying, like, the value is just not there. Like, y'all are just not, and then everything with a black man is, it's either you're educated or you're bougie, you think you're too good. Or if you don't have that education, you're ghetto, whatever the case. Well, not ghetto, but uneducated, or you're this type of woman and can be labeled as such a woman that is not worthy. And then the person that does go to school is, you bougie, you think you too much. It's just like you.
I'm not
and this
going
is
to
why
disagree with you.
we don't.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm going to say I feel as though the interpretation is off.
I just feel like we would have to wait on the men to go ahead and catch up, because men do develop slower than women.
Okay.
Like,
I'm gonna say this.
So it takes y'all longer to grow up. That's why it be when we 30 or when we're 29 or 28. Oh, okay, I think we're gonna settle down and get married. I just feel like men aren't on that same wavelength of, okay, I'm gonna settle down and I'm gonna get married.
Okay. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna rebuttal.
And also, women do want to pursue their careers. They want to have more than just, I want to be a family woman.
And that's fine. And now I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna rebuttal. I'm gonna say I agree. Y'all do mature faster because men are simple creatures. We're stupid. We like stupid things. I'm not gonna lie. You give a nigga a deck of cards, I promise you we can make about 1,000 games out of that. But this is also I'm gonna say. One, I don't like the fact. I do agree that right now black women are leading us when it comes to black women and black men. Yes, wholeheartedly. Now, why that is the case, I'm not gonna speak too much about the system and all that like I usually would. But that's for another day. But the first thing that I'm going to say is the labeling and all that, it doesn't really come from us.
Okay.
Because
who does it come from then?
Y'all. And this is what I say, because it's just like, in terms, yes, there are times of men, and I can't say it doesn't happen, where you'll see a woman and after listening to her, talking to her, you start getting, dang, she went to college and all that, she might be bougie. Yeah, so hardly, but at the same time, that doesn't come from just out of nowhere, that comes from experience. So take a dude that is making money, doesn't have a career, doesn't have a college degree, trying to talk to a woman who has a college degree. Mm-hmm. Let's say she's making $180,000 a year, and let's say she's just making $150,000. You will get bouginess. You will get you'll get all the profile and all the stereotypes. Stereotypes and all, like, you'll get all that. You'll get profile. So it's just like, you can't, I'll say it happens from, like I said, from experience, but it happens for a reason. Because you can't say people don't judge a book before they read it. They judge a book before they actually and
I see can't
judge a book by its cover.
I see what you're saying, but let's just take the whole man going to college or whatever, getting a degree. Mm-hmm. You don't have to get a degree to get a good paying job, to actually be educated in your field, to know what you're doing, to have the training, whatever the case may be. A lot of people don't have to go to college to do that. Low-key, college is a scam. Low-key.
Yeah.
But take out the college piece for the man, and they do have a good job, and they're making money or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. That does not, just because you're making money or whatever the case may be, does not mean that you're mature enough to know how to correctly step to a woman and then follow the procedures. It's no really rule book or guideline to follow in order to get married. But I just feel like a lot of dudes now, whatever race they are, y'all play like a lot of mind games. Like, y'all play a lot of mind games that just don't even have to be played. Like, it just could be so much more clean cut and simple if we were more straightforward and honest with one another about our intentions before going into certain types of things.
So you said basically be honest and don't lie. So you're saying be honest and don't lie.
I mean, I'm not saying, well, honesty helps, but I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for men, I just feel like the maturity aspect, whether you're making money or not, or you have a great job or not, the maturity.
Intentions pure.
Your intentions, yes, will keep you not pure, because some people don't have pure intentions. Whatever your intentions are, you need to display them at that moment. If they're asking you what your intentions are,
don't leave nobody on. That's what you're saying.
You're getting it. It's like I'm saying the mature. I just feel like y'all play too many games. Like it's very much so. Like you said, you give a man a deck of cards and they think about 1,000 ways to play that one with the one deck of cards. I just feel like men are just not as mature. And when they're ready for marriage or they're ready to take those steps, then they will take their steps. Nobody has to hold their hand or guide them into doing that if that's something that they want to do. If a man put their mind to it, they're going to do it. But if their mind is not on it, if that's not what they want to do, they're not taking the steps, or they're not signing up to be anybody's husband. And I feel like it takes a while for a man to realize what he wants, for him to grow up, and for him to find the right woman that he wants to be with. I just feel like marriage, I feel like, okay, to be honest, I feel like the only reason that marriage is important is so that if something happens to your significant other, you have the control about what to do with their body, with their money, with their insurance, what happens with the kids. What happens with the estate? What happens with so many other things? Because if you're not married, none of that matters. All of that goes to the state.
Okay. Hold that thought. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsors. Yo, what's going on, gang? Check it out. Are you hungry and can't decide what you want to eat? And are you in Atlanta South Side area? Well, look no further. Hop in your car and take a trip down to No Sauce Smokehouse Barbecue, the best barbecue spot in the city, where we're all about that flavor. Here we take pride in being a black-owned business, bring you the most fire barbecue you'll ever taste. Our grill master has spent years perfecting our dry rubs, and it speaks for itself in every bite. We only use the freshest, high-quality meat, slow smoked to perfection. Try our signature brisket, pulled pork, or ribs, and taste the difference that years' worth of dedication makes. And don't even trip, we definitely got some bomb sides to complement your meal, like our famous mac and cheese, collard greens, potato salad, and more. So what are you waiting for? Make that drive. Or DoorDash if you're feeling a little lazy, we got that option too. Here at No Sauce Smokehouse Barbecue, where the meat is the real MVP, and where we put the family back in the kitchen. We can't wait to serve you. Alright, now that we're back.
Yes.
Let's pick up where we left off. Get into that good conversation. But off of what you said before. So I really beg to differ on that. Because for me, personally, and this is my personal experience. So to answer one of my questions I said in the beginning of the show, my parents weren't divorced. Well, they're divorced now, but they were never married. They were just together, long-term partners.
Yes,
for a very long time. So it was just like I've seen, in my experience, I've seen that love. I have a neighbor that they been married for a very long time. I can say honestly more than 30 years. I've seen that love.
Okay.
At my church, my pastor, his wife, they were married for, I believe, 50-something years. They passed away early 2010s.
Dang.
Yeah, they were about 70-something. So, yeah, they would be around 80-something. So, about 50-some years. I've seen that love. When I think of marriage, I don't really believe Well, I'm not saying I don't believe. I don't think how we think of marriage, and I mean as I think males, y'all truly understand it. Because it's just like, from far as I know, all the dudes that I know, from the ones that are in college, the ones that's not in college, the ones that, hell, some of the ones that's even still working at McDonald's, they want marriage. Because it's just like, at the end of the day, you don't want to be in that lifestyle that you see, that people portray out and that you see all the time. Like, it gets annoying, especially from when like you're trying to work for something, when you're trying to achieve something, because it's just like it gets them late nights and shit, them alone, like that shit gets like, it does something to you. And then I think like a lot of times for like, especially for dudes, like your mental is everything. So it's just like when you're by yourself, left alone, you gotta constantly think about life, constantly think about other things. It gets so overwhelming at times, you don't want to be alone. So I feel like that's another thing that is a difference between this generation. Because I know now a lot of things are phone, media driven, everything. Like things are not the same as it was back then.
Yeah,
of course not.
Definitely.
But it's just like with being so heavily into technology, especially into your phones, you don't have a lot of time to be by yourself. That help as much as you need to. You don't have the time to really. I don't say you don't have the time, but it's like it's not easy growing up into that and then knowing yourself and doing everything because you're so heavily addicted and into your phone. You're not spending time together. You're not talking together. The communication's not there. So that's why I feel like marriage gets looked down upon, especially now, because it's just like everyone's trying to compare and see what they want to do. So when you say like a majority of women or come education first and everything, that's why I say it's some, because it's like there's a large pool of them, but at the end of the day, there's an even larger pool of not even just black women, but of women that don't care for that. Because it's just like, yeah, for a fact, I know personally, men will see, she went to college, she probably bougie, think too much, everything. But it's just like I said from experience, like I've seen women at like just at parties, whatever the case may be, or I'm a college student and everything. It's like, matter of fact, I put it like this. I have a friend that I know back at home, doesn't go to college, works 9 to 5, very strict, cool dude. I've seen him try to talk to a girl at a club we went to. Damn, my mom won't see this. That's crazy. I don't care. But at a club we went to downtown, and she immediately shut him down and everything because it's just like she didn't fit what she seen. But it's just like at the end of the day.
Well, what? Okay. Well, then you have to go into not even him in general, what he brought to the table. Maybe to her standards or in her preference, he just wasn't the person for her.
I would agree and say yes to that, and this is just me also, I go off of what people's true intentions are with their wording. Because it's just like whatever you first, to me personally, it's like whatever you first think of, like I can hear it and it's just like, all right, cool, I see where your mind is at. So it's just like, first thing off the back is, oh, you're trying to talk to me, but the first education you got is high school diploma, if you got that.
But okay, now see, that's something like.
So it's just like you deal with that.
My thing is, we keep touching on like the college thing. Yes, women do go to college. We go to school, and we go to better our education, so we can get positions in a patriarchal society. Okay. Where we do have a fat wage gap in order to go ahead and get those positions and make the money that we need to make in order to support ourselves without having to rely on a husband to support us, even when we do get married, because there's been plenty of time, and that was my whole thing for saying the college thing. Men, y'all can go to school, y'all can have an education, whatever, but y'all do live in a patriarchal society. For somebody that hasn't gone to college would make more money than an African American woman who is degreed. Because there's such a fat wage gap in the patriarchal society of the United States of America. So what I'm trying to say is that takes into account us wanting to be independent and not have to worry about a husband to take care of, a child to take care of, a household to take care of. And then also when you do get married and you do have children, it's many women that don't feel supported. That's why they probably go through terrible postpartum. And their partner is literally in the house with them. And they go through terrible postpartum and be like, I feel like I have to do everything. I have to be here, feed my baby, breastfeed my baby. My milk ducts are not like coming out as fast. I gotta do the laundry, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta clean, I gotta cook, I gotta go to work in 5 hours. And they literally be stressed postpartum. What is their partner doing by helping? What is their partner doing? They go to work, they come home, oh, it's for dinner. They might do a little dishes. They might clean out a bottle or two. And then they be back in the bed. And then, because men are sexual creatures, not saying that women are not, because women like sex just as much as men. However, then you go to, because women have sexual urges just like men.
Yeah, but I don't think y'all understand the difference in how that really works. Like,
but I'm saying though, since you're putting the emphasis on a man's sexual desires, okay, cool. Putting the emphasis on the man's sexual desires, then you're asking her after she did all of this, fed the baby is on the breast, you asking her, can we have sex? And she's like, you just not seeing everything that's being thrown at her. And a lot of people, a lot of women that I know personally don't want to have to, first of all, go through a marriage, right? Where you're contractually bound to this person because it's a contract. You're contractually bound to this person by law.
Okay, hold on.
Because it is a contract.
It is. Hold on right quick though. Because I'm going to try to take hold of this because I ain't going to turn this into a male
exactly. Like it's not male versus female, but I'm telling you.
Focusing on marriage. So going off into, and once I say this, I'm going to go back a little bit onto the scheduling. But, and then, like I said, everything, my personal opinion, going from what you said about like I don't want to say, I'm trying to find the right word to say it. The motherly duties of a household. Going from the motherly duties of a household.
But are they motherly duties? And
breastfeeding is motherly duties.
But the woman breastfeeds and saves the milk, and the husband can literally put that milk that she stored in that package, put it in a bottle and feed it to the baby.
Now,
the baby doesn't have to be up here.
But this is what we're saying. And this is what I'm going to say. That would have to be something, and this is what I'm going to say you got to take it up with yourself. And this is why I say that. Hold on, pay attention. Because of the fact that you being in this predicament goes off into the person that you choose. Because at the end of the day,
that's the person that you're marrying, though.
Because here's the thing, it's like, to me personally, I would want to know that. And what I mean want to know that is like how you conduct by raising a child. So it's just like, if I know for a fact, let's just say, if I'm starting a family with a woman and let's say I know she had, and this is just for example, she smokes cigarettes, has that, I know.
But you know she smokes cigarettes
exactly.
Before you die with her.
Okay, now pay attention to what you just said. And let's say she gets pregnant.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
You're saying
if you know that he's not going to help you when you're pregnant,
so it's just like, in that case, it's like, don't choose for that. Because at the end of the day, when you're going into a relationship and a marriage, that career and everything does not matter. Because you being a CEO of a business does not mean you're good at being a wife, a mother, a nurturer. Like, it does not. So it's just like, that's cool and all. You have a great, amazing career and everything, but
But
if I know for a fact,
it also helps to not financially depend on the man. That's what I'm
now,
saying.
okay, now here's the thing.
Because there's been...
It's just like, yes, you can say like being financially stable on the man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. For you to be financially stable on your own, even when you are married, you have a joint account, but you also have your separate accounts. Because there's been plenty of instances that I have seen of men like close to me. Men literally leaving the woman with $0.
Okay, but now let's not also put into account of
like, and she has children.
You got that, but now that also goes into the person you chose. But with the whole thing of
some people now in divorce, stuff get ugly. Like you be like, I married this person, and then you come out of the relationship and not know the person that you're dealing with at all. Like they could be like, I don't want you to walk away with nothing. When you first married them, you really be like, oh, everything is gonna be so nice. Our dating was great. Our engagement was great. The first 2 years of our marriage was great. Now y'all 15 years in and he's not the same person. Y'all both are not the same people when y'all first got married or even when y'all started dating. So it's kind of hard for you to be like, oh, well, don't marry nobody that does that. Of course, that would be perfect common sense. If you don't want anybody that doesn't take the initiative, don't marry somebody like that.
Now, this
However, people change from the first day.
You gotta learn your person. Now, this is how I'm gonna say. And this is just an example.
Because it takes years to learn a human being, and a human being is always evolving.
They say you don't know someone until you live with them. Now, of course, I'm not saying jump into anything, but here's my take on it. Let's say I'm going out with someone for a couple years, and we're trying to take it serious, getting married, kids, and all that. Let's say we move in together. Let's say we've been together at this point 4 years. We move in together, things looking great. I want to see how she conducts herself as a mother, a wife, a nurturer. Well, not a really wife, because if I'm moving in with her, I see it. If we already living together, I want to see all of that. Like, I want to see these qualities that you possess. And it's just like, if that's the case, you don't show those qualities that I'm looking for, I'm not there. And I feel that the same way should go for women. Because at the end of the day, it's just like a lot of things that y'all have issues with, or that I hear the issues that you say, not you in particular, but when I say you, I mean women, it goes off into what you chose. I wholeheartedly understand and know that, of course, people can change after a while. Oh, this dude might change and be a little different after a few years and whatnot. But what I will say is, do you put this person in a particular predicament to know? Because I say like this: if you want to see if a dude is going to take care of his child or anything, shit, get a dog.
Not get a dog.
Because honestly and truly, you get a dog, that dog got to get taken care of whether you're here or not. Now you have a responsibility. See how this man handles responsibilities. They say you can't take someone's care of how they treat the janitor. Take how this man cares about this damn dog. Because at the end of the day, he ain't going to give a... Yes, I understand it's a dog, but it's still a responsibility. It's a life. It's a living thing. Especially if you love an own dog and everything. Yes, it's not. You treat it as a child. So, everything else of, he leaves or leaving us with nothing, is a kid, everything, that just goes into the person. But sometimes there's occasions where the woman could play a part. We ain't going to sit here and say that women are spiteful.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that either party is perfect when it comes to divorce, because there's always different instances. Like, it's not always the man's fault. It's not always the woman's fault. It could be just irreconcilable differences. Y'all just don't work well together anymore. It could just be that. So I wouldn't say that it's necessarily anybody's fault for divorce or for the breaking up of a marriage. But I'm just saying, like, let me go back to my point of, obviously we know that we're not going to marry somebody that we just cannot depend on. Like, that's just common sense. But in some instances, I'm going to say some men do have red flags. And they could be like...
I hate that word so much.
Well, okay, well, some...
No, you can say it. It's just, I already know where this is going to go.
Some guys could have discrepancies that some women just would be like, oh, okay, well, I know that he does this, but maybe he can grow out of this, or maybe he can change. You know, like, some people... And that's okay. Like, that's just a human thing that everybody does. They'd be like, okay, well, even though men and women... Even though this person that I like has this trait that I don't like, hopefully I can help them better themselves because I want them to be in my life so much that I'm going to either overlook it or help them change. But it's not just women that think like that. It's men too.
Yes.
It's human beings in general.
That. For humans out there, for people watching, don't think like that. Don't. Because, and this is why I say...
They'll change for themselves. You can't make anybody change.
No, and that's why I say this. Because I feel like, you can make someone change. Depending on the way you go by it. Because it goes like this. If I love someone wholeheartedly and everything, I know I got something attached to them. And if I lose them, and I'm not going to get them back, I'm going to change.
But that's internal. Because you're faced with a decision of, I either lose them and be fine, or I lose them, or I don't lose them and have to change.
But if you were the one to bring up that decision, when that also means that you force that change. Because it goes like, if you're always there, going to be there, sticking around, doing all that, you're not really making a decision for me to make. You're here. So, of course, it's going to keep going on. You're going to see this thing going on because you're here. Mm-hmm. But in the case of, if you actually took the initiative, fuck all the toxic, the energy is bad, like, bump that. If you was to come straight up and just, I'm in a situation where things aren't looking good. I am unhappy. I am going to leave. I'm going to let you know I am leaving and there's nothing you can do to stop me unless this is met. Mm-hmm. And you stick and stand 10 toes on that. At the end of the day, if it doesn't happen, you're happy. You're moving on. If it does happen, you're happy. You got what you was wishing for. Mm-hmm. But it's all in the person. But then again, you got people that stay in that predicament because they're comfortable. People are comfortable in that situations.
Comfortability also is really, really affects
it's a danger.
Marriage too.
But it's just like also when it comes to men, I'll say you have a lot of men that, of course, it's known in the black community, like I said before, women are beating us. But it's just our black women are beating our black men. That's what I mean. Like,
are beating?
Yeah, like talking about in like stature, financial ability, like all.
Oh, I was like,
not really like. You got.
I'm like, what headlines are we saying right now?
No. But like, of course they're beating us out. But at the end of the day, it's just like you gotta know. You gotta know, and you gotta know what to really bring to the table. I would say, but then again, it's not easy. Mm-hmm. It's not easy for us black men. So the only thing I can say is, I want to say black men step up our game, but if I'm going to tell black men to step up our game, I got to tell black women also. Ease up.
I wouldn't say necessarily ease up, but I would say maybe be a little bit more compassionate for the person that is not so much like, okay, I'm not going to say lower your standards because nobody really needs to lower their standards, men or women. If this is your standard, if these are your boundaries that you have set up, don't lessen your morals or your boundaries, standards for no one. Mm-hmm. Because this is what you stand for, this is what you want. You don't need to lower that. You need to find somebody that's either close enough to it. But I'm just saying, like, it's certain things that are boundaries that just need to be met. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't matter if you, like, you're freaking 5'11". You can't change that much. Like, you're grown.
I'm glad you said that, because that's something that you hear a lot.
But I'm saying, like, 5'11". You want somebody that's 6'2", couple feet off. But if they're a good person, maybe you can, figure that out. Like, don't be so rigid when it comes to superficial things. But when it comes to things of how is their spirit, how is the way that they treat you, how are their mannerisms, are they intelligent? Can they hold a conversation that's not BS? Can they, like, are they responsible? Are they honest? Are they truthful? Do they have integrity? Like, are they determined to, if they fall down, get laid off, have something bad happen to them in their life, do they have a drive to keep going and still provide for themselves? Certain stuff like that, your standards are set, but you got to be a little bit more lenient, being like, oh, he got to have a full-grown beard. Maybe his beard is patchy. Like, maybe his beard is patchy. But same for men. Don't let the standards or your morals or your values dwindle. Never lower those, because these are your boundaries. These are what you set for yourselves and what you ask for people to bring to the table. But when it comes to the superficiality of things, like, oh, she can't wear weave. Oh, I hate when she be having those nails on. Oh, she gotta have like a whole bunch of chest, whole bunch of butt. Her waist she has to reach this way. Like, and I know that men are, I guess, like, they indulge in the visible of women, but y'all, same thing. Y'all be saying your standards are too high for the physical, okay, but also y'all standards be a little high for the physical. Y'all be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. I hate it when women do this, I hate it when women do that. But when they do the same thing to y'all get salty. Y'all be like, I'm not even 6'2". Okay, so let it go. If they are a good person with integrity, they have a beautiful spirit, they are humorous, they're compassionate, they have empathy for people. Stuff like that you have to look into and see where their boundaries lie. Do they match up with yours? That's the stuff that you need to be looking at, instead of, do she got a fat booty? That doesn't matter. Like, she could be a skinny mini and be the full package on the inside.
Yeah.
And you just turn down your blessing.
So, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let you end up leaving after this. Thank you so much. And I'm going to say my promise from God.
No problem.
I'm just the people when I say this. So, for me, I'm going to say this. If we want to see a change and we want to be able to make things better as a whole, and thrive, Black women
and women in general.
Yes. Thank you. Have interest in those qualities, and I bet you will see men change. Have interest in them qualities, and I guarantee you will see men change, because men are going to adapt and be what women want, because at the end of the day, that is what the goal is. One beautiful woman on your side. A beautiful woman on your side. For some, a plethora of women. But for each his own. For men, for Black men and men in general, pick a favorite character in any fictional any fictional movie star, like Prince Charming, anything where the dude gets the girl, emulate that person and make it your own way, and find something that will make you successful. Work on that. Pick up a few hobbies. I guarantee you we'll see a change in our women. That's it. Because at the end of the day,
we are all the same.
Yes,
it's no species versus species.
What women want and go for it, men is going to be. What men want and what men for, women are going to gravitate to. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But with that all being said, that's all the time that we have for today's episode. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of A Land to the World C.D.G.C edition. C.D.G.C edition. I'm your host, King Wiseman. Thank you, Jordan, for making it out to this recording. And see you all on the next video. Peace.